All right, folks, welcome back to episode 18 of the Ginge Ball Pod. If you noticed last week, we got the video pods going on YouTube, which I'm pretty stoked about. This one's going to come out on YouTube as well if you want to watch the videos and see our ugly mugs. Um, we got some week three game recaps. We got some stuff around the league we want to talk about, and then we want to talk about our week two game recaps, and then some week three previews. But first, Beck, how the hell are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing good, brother. How was the weekend?
Chilling, man. Just another weekend in the life, watching some football. Glad
Another
to be
weekend
back
in
in
the life of
the
Jack Becker.
yeah, glad to be back in the swing of things. So
Let's go. All right. Well, so obviously we had a big slate this weekend. Some pretty surprising games. Started Thursday night with my Green Bay Packers taking care of business at home in the all whites against the Washington Commanders. The story of this game, I would say, is the Packers' ability to stop the run, first of all. The Commies only had, I think, 51 yards on the ground. The Packers out yarded them total yards wise by almost double. And just sort of, I think the score doesn't tell the full story here because it ended 27-18. But I think the game was pretty one-sided. What do you see from both these teams, and how do you think they'll be going forward?
yeah, Green Bay's legit. The defense looks very good, man. The Commanders, their offense this game, it looked really simplified. They ran a lot of screens, a lot of short yardage passes, just not great. It looked really just archaic, and I was disappointed to see that from them. I think the final score is closer than this game really was. Packers, for them, they came out firing. Their off passing offense looked great, especially in the first half. Tucker Kraft getting involved, Romeo Dobbs. They even had a deep shot to Golden that was just incomplete. I wish that one
Yeah.
hit. But yeah, I mean, this team has weapons. You see, what's his name? Heath getting involved there too.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they have plenty of wide receiver depth here with the Jaden Reed injury. But, I just think my main takeaway from this game is that Green Bay looks the part. I think they're going to be a force. I think you have to put them up there with the Eagles, the Rams, those top teams in the wet or the NFC that we figure to be fighting for a Super Bowl. I think the Packers are firmly in that mix now.
Yeah, I was impressed. The one thing I will say from our sort of skill players is that obviously Jaden Reed gets that injury earlier in the game. The offense still, was operating very smoothly throughout the game. Jacobs got going in the run game a bit. But I do think that going forward, I think this might be a little bit of an under talked about talking point when it comes to the Packers is I think Reed gives us a lot stretching the field, especially with Christian Watson out. So it'll be interesting to see how they sort of are able to put the pieces together with him out. I do think that Golden might benefit from that. And in the long run, Golden getting more reps now with Reed out could help them for the playoff push because he might need to be a big piece, especially we don't know. Christian Watson gets hurt every year, so we'll see what kind of value he'll give us down the stretch. I'm hopeful that he'll be back to his top form. But yeah, I thought Wicks was good. Kraft was obviously a monster. We talked about him all offseason. I think he's a stud. I think he's going to put himself in that tier with the Kittles and the Bowers and Laportas of the world. And for the Commanders, I'm worried. Obviously, Jaden Daniels also gets hurt in this game. He has a knee injury, and it looks like he's going to miss the Raiders matchup in Week 3. What do you think? Were you concerned about this Commanders offense? And also Eckler goes down with an Achilles, so the run game just takes a massive hit between those two guys. What do you think about this Commanders offense going forward?
Yeah, I was concerned, but I'm not sure how much I can take away from it. The Daniels injury, I'm not too concerned about. It seems like it's just gonna be a weak
Yeah.
thing, but overall, just how their offense looked, yeah, it was definitely like eye-opening. I don't know why a lot of the offenses around the league just have been really simplified and not as electric to start the season. But we talked about it in our preseason talking points. Like we didn't think the weapons on this team were that great. So maybe this is a result of that. But I I come away more impressed with the Packers in this game. So I'm gonna give the commies a couple weeks to figure things out. Um, probably if Daniels is out for the Raiders game, not gonna put too much stock into that. But just the next couple weeks with Daniels in there, that I'll be watching closely. But I'm not gonna make any, you know, takes off of this one game. Um,
Yeah.
I think that would be immature to do.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Do you think there's anything to though the Kingsbury? I know Kingsbury always seems to get figured out after a couple of years. Do you think there's anything to that, and that there's maybe a bigger problem with this offense, or you think it's just early season jitters?
Um, a little bit of both. I also think it's personnel too, though.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, when you got a year of tape on what they like to do, it would make sense. And um, Terry's got to round back into form too. He hasn't had a hot start, so
no.
that I would figure that they try to get him more involved in the coming weeks. That would be the smart thing to do. And then you gotta hope that JCM can take this backfield lead because, um, just, I mean, behind that you got Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols, so you got to find something from the run game.
Yeah, it's a tough backup running
Yeah.
back situation. Yeah, the other thing I just want to point out is I thought that the Packers defensive backs were really good in this game. I thought Keyshawn Nixon was great in coverage. He was, I think he had like 5 PBUs. And Javon Bullard playing the slot was good as well. So yeah, I think the D lines helped out with the secondary a lot, and the Packers looked like a dominant defense. Let's move on to a game that was probably a lot more interesting to the neutral viewer. Giants Cowboys. This was just I think it blew a lot of us out of the water just in the way that this game unfolded because the Giants looked their offense looked awful in week 1 against Washington. They come out and put up over 500 yards of total offense. Obviously, almost all of that comes through the air with Russ. And the Cowboys basically matched them, going for nearly 500 themselves. The Cowboys were able to win this in OT, but what do you see from this game from both sides here?
Wasn't expecting this much of a high scoring shootout. I mean, I thought Russ just kind of by the fourth quarter he was flinging it up there, and
Oh
it.
my God.
I mean, he looked great. Besides that last pick, which was a heave
Yeah, that was
up to the
crazy.
heavens. Um, but good one for the Cowboys to figure it out and escape with the win. Um, but yeah, I think this was just a weird division matchup where it was high scoring. Not sure what to take away from it, honestly.
Yeah.
Just kind of a really high scoring game, probably the most exciting game we've seen all season. Um, I liked how Pickens looked in this game, though. I talked about that after the first game against the Eagles, how I wanted to see how he could get involved more in this offense, and he had big time plays in this game that
Yeah.
really swung the outcome, in my opinion. And then for the Giants, Wan'Dale Robinson, he's had a hot start to the year again. So he looks more dynamic this year than he did last year. He's just getting peppered by Jones. Maybe that's a product of the offense. I thought Scatabo brought something to the table this game, some intensity for the Giants. Um, but yeah, the Giants got cooked on defense. Maybe I overrated this defense a little bit, but they still have guys that I like. And Dallas is a better offense overall, healthy. I should have figured that before the season, but they looked the part.
Yeah, I think the thing that you brought up there at the end is definitely rings true. I think the Dallas offense is more reproducible week to week. Like I think we could see Dallas have some more games like this where they just go nuclear because they just have so much talent offensively. I mean, even Turpin got going in this game, and I thought he gave them a spark. Just on some of those like end arounds and little like dink and dunks that he's able to spring something out of nothing. But yeah, I mean, you have CD, you have Pickens, even Ferguson got in on the act. He had 9 catches. Yeah, I thought they were explosive. The Giants, I do think they benefited a bit from Dallas's secondary just being pretty atrocious. I
Kyer
mean,
Elon.
yeah, I
We
mean,
talked
like
about this preseason. Like he's
exactly.
not. He doesn't hold up to NFL standards as a starting quarterback right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that Buffalo was willing to give up on him. And yeah, it's a really, I think Diggs gets exploited a lot too. Obviously, he had those interception numbers a couple years ago, and I think a lot of people were tricked into thinking he was a star. I'm not sold on. He's not a good tackler. He gets beat downfield all the time. So yeah, I mean that Dallas secondary is going to be an issue, and that's part of the reason that I think a lot of us were pretty skeptical about them coming into the season. They have next week. This we'll get into it when we do our previews, but this Cowboys Bears game I think is going to be another shootout with just like two awful defenses and two
Yeah.
offenses that can get going. But yeah, I think the Cowboys also the Cowboys run game I was impressed by in this game. I thought Javante. I thought week one might have just been a flash in the pan, but it does look like he's going to be able to be a force for them. Booby got in the act just with a little red zone touchdown, but yeah, I think Javante's been big for them opening it up, and then all the play action comes out of that. So, what have you seen from that Dallas run game, and do you think that can sort of be a factor going forward?
Yeah, I think Javante will be able to hold down the fort. Um, I don't expect crazy gaudy numbers, but I think he can be like a plus 200 plus carry guy. And I
Yeah.
think that's what you need him to be. And if he's just like 90% of as effective as he is right now, then you're really happy with that. And you feel like you came away a winner in the offseason because you didn't pay big for any running back. And you kind of proved a lot of people wrong, including myself, about there being the lack of a run game being a big factor for this offense. It hasn't been so far, and I think they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I think this is their best rushing attack they've had in a few years. And then the last thing on this game is there any part of a Giants fan's brain you think that's just like, fuck, dude, because Russ like playing well like this kind of pushes back the Jackson Dart timeline a little bit, or do you think they're just like, ah, fuck it, we saw a good football game, whatever.
I don't think it pushes it back at all. I mean, Russ will be streaky from week to week.
Yeah,
He's a little bit like Jameis in that way. They're not the same type of player, but they
Chapu.
do kind of throw it up. Um, Russ doesn't see the middle of the field that well, but um, I for the time being, it's whatever. I don't think Dable's job should be completely on the line. I think you give this a couple years to form, because I kind of like the foundation here. I do, but they just got to figure it all out and see it through.
Yeah, so if you're the GM, you're giving him a couple of years, Dable. Even
I'd
if
get.
say they come out to like an 0-4 start, 0-5 start.
I mean, it would. It all matters about the optics. Their schedule's tough though. I
Yeah,
mean, their schedule's.
really tough.
I don't know, but like as of right now, like I'm not thinking next couple of games. I'm
Right.
keeping a close eye on to see if I want to get him out of here. But that's just me. I could easily change my opinion on this in a couple of weeks, but I feel okay with him right now. I feel like
Yeah.
he has a good pulse in the locker room still. I think that matters a lot. It's not like this team's in a Miami Dolphin situation or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Holy fuck, man. Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, no, I think that was a fun game, and we'll see if either of those teams are anything going forward. I think the Giants, them being competitive, I do agree with you. I think that's big for them keeping this staff together. Let's move on to a bit of a come down to earth game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost at home against the Seahawks 31-17. They led this game pretty late in the game, but they weren't able to hold on. They got booed off the field at the end. Rodgers had a tough second half in this one. Darnold kind of was throwing it around the yard a bit, had a couple bad picks, but what'd you see in this one for Seahawks Steelers?
I mean, the Caleb Johnson play stands out to me.
Yeah, oh my God, dude.
Tough look for the program.
What's he thinking there?
I don't know because even
He
if
touched the
like
ball.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even if you don't know the landing zone rule, you can't pull the Kyle Williams from the Niners 2011 NFC Championship game and act like it didn't touch you when it's clear as day. So tough look for him. I hope he can, kind of earn opportunities back to get on the field because special teams is his role as of right now, and it doesn't seem like Warren's gonna be giving up any work in the backfield, and you also have Gainwell. So yeah, that's tough. But I mean, that swung this game. I think this could have easily been, a down to the wire, uh, whoever has the ball last kind of game if that doesn't happen there. But I mean, this game was kind of two mid teams, man.
Yeah,
I wish I saw. I'm still hoping for more out of the Seahawks. They got that Kenneth Walker. He had a very efficient game in this one, but it's interesting how Sharp's outsnapping him the first couple of weeks.
yeah,
Uh, and it seems like that's going to be a trend that continues, unless this is like Kenneth Walker injury management. But yeah, they got to figure out the passing offense, man. Besides JSN, they got nothing here. And you got to try to get the tight ends more involved. I feel like Barner and Arroyo, like I think those are your next two
yeah. They're
best
solid.
options. But yeah, you're gonna have to get both of these running backs going. I don't think you can just have Walker going. You need Sharp to be a factor as well in the run game so you can set up the pass. That's how they want to play this, then that's how it's gonna have to work. But I mean, for the Steelers, like pretty much all I expected from them. I didn't have high hopes.
Yeah.
Kind of exactly what we thought they were. So, um, even though the Seahawks win, I still come away a little bit, looking for more from them. That's my take on this game. It's classic clash of mid teams, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I thought, and I know we were in the offseason talking about how we weren't impressed by Cup of late. I thought he was involved in this game. Whether that's reproducible against better teams, I don't think so. But I did think the passing offense at least was better than the San Fran game for them. I thought Darnold looked a lot more comfortable. And Tony Horton gets his first touchdown. Just want to mention that he wasn't much of a factor in this game. Besides that. But yeah, I thought the Seahawks defense was good. It's tough to gauge when you're playing a Pittsburgh team that doesn't run the ball efficiently at all and doesn't have much outside of like screen passes and little throws in the flat and contested catches by DK Metcalf. Like it is, I think this week, and we touched on this last week when we were talking about the Steelers, is even though the numbers looked good and the offense looked to be effective, it was like it's so difficult for them to move down the field. It's
Yeah,
not the
everything's got to be on script.
right, exactly. It's not the Bills where it's like they fly down the field in 4 plays and go 80 yards in 4 plays and it's like, free flowing offense. You have Cook going for 20, Josh Allen freelancing and making a big play. It's all timing. Rodgers on like a two-step drop. If he doesn't have a one of his top reads in his two-step drop, he's getting sacked or he's throwing it away. And I think this is what we talked about last week because we acknowledged that the Jets were an awful defense, which we saw again this week. We'll get to
Yeah.
that. And against I think a top 10 defense in Seattle, I think they showed their ass in this game. And I thought it would just look so difficult for them to get anything going. Warren was a bit explosive in some of their screen game, but I mean, are you going to rely on
Yeah,
on
it's
like
nothing to get
that to
like
win you
excited about.
games? Yeah, so I mean, I think you were spot on when you said the Steelers are who we thought they were. For the Seahawks, through 2 weeks, I think there's still a question mark to me. JSN looks like the star we knew he was going to be. And Darnold was more comfortable this week, but they look like the third best team in this division still. I know San Fran's banged up right now, but I think when they get Purdy back and Kittle back, they'll be ahead of them. So yeah, I don't know. There's not much to take away from the Seattle side of this for Pittsburgh. This is what we thought they were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you on this one completely.
All right, so let's move on. Another early slate game. We had we had the Rams going to Tennessee. This was a bit of a strange game just because I thought that it took the Rams a while to get going in this one. And Cam Ward made some plays. I know he wasn't efficient at all, and he's probably been one of the least efficient QBs in the NFL so far, but he makes a few plays here and there where you're just kind of like, I can see it. And I thought Elike Manor had some nice plays, some contested catches. Obviously, that ridiculous Ward rolling out to his
Yeah.
right, throwing across his body touchdown. Whether or not the coaching staff wants to see that, I'm not sure. But yeah, so it took the Rams a while to get going, but they eventually outpaced the Titans offensively, and they just had too much for them. What did you see in this one? Is there any takeaways for either team?
Yeah, I mean, I caught the second half of this game, so I didn't get to see all the Titans' explosive plays in this. So it's pretty much Rams dominance by the time I tuned in. But based on what a couple highlights from Ward, like you mentioned, that were promising. Definitely, they're a year away. They're a year
Yeah.
away from like being a team that has a chance to, fight for a seventh or sixth seed. Um, and then for the Rams, I don't feel like it should. Their offense right now is they gotta. It's not polished at all right now. I feel like they got to figure
No.
out the Devontae Puka dynamic. I feel like it's a lot centered on Puka's shoulders right now as opposed to Adams. And the one thing that I did like that they were mixing in was Corum into the run game.
Yeah, he was good.
I think finally, if you could see a Rams dynamic where they have two or three backs where that they can use, that will be nice to see. And they love using that secondary tight end, Allen.
Yeah.
They've been using him a lot on offense the first couple of weeks. So I think it's going to take a bit for the Rams just to get into postseason mode. It usually does. So nothing surprising here. Um, yeah, not a lot to say about this. Kind of exactly how the game was figured to go.
Yeah, yeah. I think the thing for the Titans is, if you're a Titans fan, I think you can be happy with the glimpses you see because I think in the first year in a rebuild, especially with all the new pieces they have on both offense and defense, all you really want is like a sign that you're moving in the right direction. I think you saw that in both the first 2 weeks, even though the losses weren't super competitive. I think they were better against Denver defensively. But yeah, for the Rams, I same as you. I love the Corum piece. I think he's a fun addition to that backfield. If you can get like a Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery situation going with Kyron and him, I think that could add a dimension to this team. And Puka was awesome. He's special offensively, and I think the Rams will just get better as the weeks go on. Let's move on to Bills Jets. There's not much to say in this one. This one basically exactly to plan. I think the one big thing to take from this is just that Fields gets hurt, which is it really sucks for the Jets. I know he was pretty terrible in this game. He was 3 for 11 for 27 yards before going down, and Tyrod actually in his couple drives looked better, but yeah. What is there anything to take away from this? And does the Fields injury, if it lingers, is that at all hampering for their long shot playoff odds?
Nah, I mean, we kind of had a feeling that that first game, the Jets Steelers, was just a
Yeah.
fake game where both quarterbacks and offenses knew exactly how to attack. Um, yeah, the Bills are a very good team, so the Jets were projected to struggle, but yeah, I mean, tough first half.
That
Fields has
defense
a
is
yeah,
awful.
yeah, Fields has a wide range of outcomes. So yeah, not going to be expecting much from Tyrod Taylor in this offense, but yeah, this is the pretty much the exact opposite of what you saw in week one.
Yeah.
Feel bad for Jets fans, man. This is when I picked them to go 4-13 before the season. This is exactly what I envisioned. And for
Yeah.
the Bills, glad they take care of business. The division games can sometimes sneak up on you, but they came out and they put their force on this game right away. James Cook having a great year to start out. I apologize to him and my Ray
Yeah.
Davis comments.
Yeah, we were all over Ray Davis coming to this season, and James
Yeah,
Cook has just been so dominant
yeah,
early
that
on.
that that was a bit grand. So hand up. I
Yeah.
apologize.
And up, and up. We're accountable here. Yeah, I mean that Jets defense is putrid. That might be the worst group in the NFL. I thought Isaiah Davis, though, on the kick returns for the Jets was really good. And I think he outsnapped Braylon Allen in this one. So that could be just something to look at going forward for them in that backfield. But yeah, they couldn't get anything going offensively. And yeah, I mean, if you're a Bills fan, you have to be happy. This is a game that in past years they might have gone into New York at MetLife and played to a really gross, low scoring game. And this time around, they just took care of business. So, yeah, I think the Bills are still the cream of the crop, and the Jets have some real questions to answer. Let's move on to Pats Dolphins, which was a really fun game to watch. But I'm not sure if you come away from this game super pleased with either of these teams. Obviously, the Pats end up winning this one in pretty dramatic fashion, coming back late. The Dolphins poop their pants. Tua with just another really brutal turnover after starting this game really well. And it kind of looked for a bit like, okay, wait, there might be something here. This could still be like a 9-8, 8-9 kind of Dolphins team. And then they just shit the bed late. What'd you see in this one? And is there anything that you can take away here?
Nah, this is one the Dolphins had to have in that final drive. Stepping out of bounds, very unfortunate for them because they would have won if that didn't happen. Um, yeah, it's an inexcusable read though from Tua, having the flat wide open there and just forcing it in between two linebackers trying to find the soft spot of the zone. There's nothing there. But yeah, crazy game, like you said. I mean, we have a punt return by the Patriots, followed by a kick return by the Dolphins.
Yeah, it was
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
Two score
All right.
changes too
Oh,
there.
no, no,
It
excuse me.
was it was
Punt return
Dolphins
by the
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
punt return by the Dolphins, kick return by the Patriots. Malik Washington and then Antonio Gibson. So excuse me on that one. But yeah, the Patriots have they've been airing it out. Ramondre Stevenson had a really good game this one. Travion Henderson, it is to note that he gets benched for his
Yeah.
lack of pass protection, which we thought was a strength coming into the season. So that
He
was
had a
a
great
little bit
catch though.
yeah, a little bit unfortunate there. Hopefully, he can work his way back in because I think he's a dynamic playmaker. But Butte gets a touchdown this game. Patriots, Drake May, I'm happy with this development. But yeah, this is a game the Dolphins had to have, and it's very disappointing for them.
Yeah, this is the kind, I mean, and this is something I was going to bring up later, but I guess, I mean, there's no better time. So the Dolphins obviously play tomorrow night. When this pod comes out, that'll be the same day of the game. Um, and they have a really tough Thursday night football game against the Bills. Both of them playing on short weeks, but you go to Highmark Stadium and play probably the best team in the NFL. I mean, and then they have 10 days off until their next game. Is this the end of Mike McDaniels here?
Probably,
I
probably. It
I
feels like
don't
we're
see how
trending
he
that
gets
way.
out of this next 2 weeks alive.
Yeah, they had to get these first two games, man. That was the way they could have had like an average season, and he could have gracefully walked off at the end of the season. I think this is heading to a full blow up mid-season.
Yeah, yeah, and it sucks because Tyreek got going in this game. Finally, we saw him. I mean, it was his first. He got called out in an interview earlier in the week about how he hadn't had like a 30-yard reception in 3 years or something, and he finally gets that. And he has over 100 yards receiving, and it seems like the offense is starting to get going. A-Chain's making some big plays in the receiving game. But yeah, man, I mean, it's tough. I agree with you. I think May was awesome in this one. I just think he's the guy for them, and I think he'll only continue to get better. His decision making looks really good. It looks improved from last year. Um, yeah, if you're if you're a Dolphins fan, it's bleak right now, man, and I think it might only get worse,
Yeah, I mean they
unfortunately.
got they got to find a way to get Jalen Waddle more going. I know he has 5 for 68 and a touchdown this game, but I mean he doesn't even have 100 yards through two games. He's got to be the number two for them. Uh,
Yeah.
Seems like they've lost the plot with him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, so let's move on to another wild one in an injury-riddled game. Jags at Bengals. I'm not even entirely sure where to start with this one. We see Jamar Chase go nuclear. We see the Jags sort of in control of this game throughout, and then Burrow goes down with a turf toe, which now we know is going to keep him out for probably the rest of the regular season, or at least most of it. And Jake Browning comes in, throws 3 picks, but wins this game for the Bengals in the end, in dramatic fashion. What do you see in this one? And come on, man, what the Jags? How are you not winning this game, dude?
Yeah, I mean the drop by Yami Brown in the end
Yeah,
zone, the drop by Brian Thomas to get that fourth down conversion, the little you know fight, if you want to call. I wouldn't call it a fight, but for lack of a better word, between Trevor and Cohen.
yeah,
Uh, just it's the Jags' way to lose the game. Uh, in terms of the Burrow injury for the Bengals, though, I think Browning can last for like 3 to 4 weeks. I think he's the type of guy you want to lead this offense. He's going to take shots, which is a plus, and I think he'll have a good stretch of football. But for a 3 month extended, uh, you know, trial for him here, I think by the end of it, the fans will be sick of the turnovers. I think it's gonna rear its ugly head at some point. But
oh
I
yeah,
think he'll be passable for a couple of weeks, like he was 2 years ago. Like he had some great moments. When he came in against the Jags last time, I mean, he was awesome. He was
yeah,
awesome in that. I think it was a Thursday night game, and then he has a big win against the Vikings in a Saturday game, and then he has a couple rough losses against the Steelers and the Chiefs. If I'm remembering that correctly. And those two games, the offense they struggled a little bit. So I think for the short term, Browning's going to be fine, but they might look to bring another option in if it gets a little bit dicey. But Bengals huge to start off 2-0 for them. Just finally have a good start, and you leave yourself in contention for the playoffs, even with Burrow being out. I think they'll be in the mix still for one of those last wild cards.
Yeah, I think it's huge that they get that win. The only thing is, I think they're playing a few really good defenses coming up. Their next four is Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Packers. So I mean, those are four like borderline top 10 defenses. I know the Lions had a shocker against the Packers defensively, but um, I think that's still a solid defense. And yeah, I mean, Browning is serviceable. He was 4-3 the last time we saw him as a starter for an extended period of time. So I mean, he can do the job. They have some easier games later on during the stretch that he'll be playing. So if he can keep them just afloat,
Yeah,
and the only thing is, I think they're gonna want to try to rush Burrow back. Is the only issue, especially if they in this next four they don't get. I mean, if they don't win any of these next four, it's going to be really uphill sledding. But yeah, I think he can keep them sort of if they go 500 or like even a little below when he's playing. I think those two wins will give you a little cushion. But I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough for the Bengals. They're going to be right in that like wild card race again from last year, where it's down to the last week.
yeah, agreed. But I mean, even say you split these four next four games, which would be a win. Like
Oh
you're
yeah,
4-2, and you're in a good spot. Even
right.
if you go 1-3 or 3-3, you're still in the thick of things. I think through 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to be Browning versus Carson Wentz in this Vikings game. So I mean, I
Yeah,
mean, they could 100% win. I think they're probably going to be I think they're a slight dog in that one, but I mean, they could definitely win that game. Yeah. So I mean, if from the Jags perspective, you have to win this game. That's a really tough one. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me and Trevor Lawrence, who I know both of us have had a lot of questions about. I thought ETN was good in this one.
and so is Tootin. They're like
And
those two
Tootin,
backs
yeah,
are going to be nice.
yeah, receiving wise, I thought he was good. I think the dynamic of the two of them is solid. Even LeQuint Allen in some minimal snaps, but yeah, man, this is a game you can't lose. Travis Hunter played a lot less offense in this one than in week one.
Yeah.
So
No, also that the Jags, I feel like they got robbed on that defensive pass
yeah, that was
interference. Yeah, it was
terrible
a
call.
it's a soft call, very
Yeah,
soft call. So even with
terrible.
all the mistakes, like they still kind of get robbed in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a game swinging call. So yeah, I mean, it's tough for both sides. Obviously, you lose Burrow for the Bengals and the Jags, you blow a game you have to win. And so going forward, let's look at Niners at Saints. This was a little bit of a weird one, just because we had Mac Jones against Spencer Rattler. We knew this was going to be ugly offensively. I thought Mac was actually really good though in this. Even though I mean, watching every time I watch Mac Jones, it's like even the handoffs are so painfully slow. Like it feels like he almost misses the back every time because he like can't get there.
It's a
But
funny
I
take.
mean,
I haven't heard that from anybody, but like, yeah, it kind of rings true.
yeah, I mean, if I'm telling you next time when you watch him this week, just watch the handoffs. It's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, the passing game was still effective. I thought Pearsall was good in this. Jawan Jennings had a big game. I know
Yeah,
he was a
yeah.
big talking
I
point
mean,
for us in the offseason.
good for him.
But yeah, what'd you see in this game? And Spencer Rattler was good too, I thought.
Yeah, I think the Saints are able to keep it close. They're not the worst team in football. They aren't right now. You can't say that through 2 games. Rattler does look good. He's just got to get over the hump in one of these games. They are so close. He's still yet to win a game, so feel bad for him. But for the Niners to, their defense looks formidable again, which is nice
Yeah.
to see. And if Matt can hold it down while Brock's down, you definitely feel good about this chance or this team's chances to challenge for the NFC West title with the Rams. I think those are the two teams. I'd give the edge to the Rams right now, but I don't think the Niners are far behind, and I'm more optimistic about them through 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a tough division. There's three 2-0 teams in that NFC West because the Cardinals somehow are 2-0, even though they've tried to lose games
Yeah.
as hard as they can. But yeah, I think the Niners have set themselves up well, winning these first two games. The run game was not super effective in this one. I think CMC, we still haven't seen the best of him this year. And Purdy was back in practice in a limited fashion, so I think he'll be back week 4 for them. I'd imagine. So luckily for them, they avoided a major injury there. Um, and yeah, I think the Niners are setting themselves up well to contend in this NFC West, maybe more so than we even thought. And yeah, the Saints. I know the bit is you pick them every week, but it feels like it's coming, man.
Yeah,
Like
it does.
they're in these games, and I do just want to say like Spencer Rattler, he really was. When we talk about like Geno Smith, the I ain't right back. They wrote me off. I mean, this is he's really silencing a lot of critics. It's not like he's playing like Joe Montana or anything, but like he's very
He looks the
serviceable.
part. He looks the
Yeah,
part, and that's what I think matters
yeah, he's
more
very
than anything.
clearly at least a competent NFL backup, probably a starter on a bad team. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think if you're a Saints fan, you can be pretty happy with what you've seen out of him
yeah.
so far.
And just if you were like following his career, I think coming into the league that he's over exceeded expectations so far
Oh yeah,
as to what the kind of sense and the consensus was on him coming into the league that he was immature. He seems like he's grown as a person. So good for him, and I hope he gets one. I will be picking the Saints against whoever they play this week.
let's
Don't even
go.
know right now off the top of my
Oh,
head, but
when you see who they're playing, you're gonna double down and pick them like to blow them out.
love that.
Um, so let's move on to this is another. It's similar to the Bills Jets. Let's be quick with this one. The Ravens blow the doors off the Browns. This was two teams who are in different leagues. Uh, Flacco, I mean, as much as he's trying, he threw the ball 45 times.
Yeah,
I think he has,
that touchdown
yeah.
was coming in at 2 miles per hour too. It should have been picked off. That was a really bad, just a telltale sign of age right there. Like, damn.
Yeah. It's also funny because he on the pick. Oh, it was an awful pick he threw, but he evades a sack. He rolls out to his right. He's lumbering towards the sideline. He just slings one sidearm and no overthrows the shit out of his receiver in double coverage. Throws a pick. Yeah, tough one for the Browns. I thought the defense actually for a defense that gave up 41 points, I actually thought their defensive front was really solid in this game. They stopped the run almost entirely. Derrick Henry had 23 yards rushing. Lamar only had 13. Everything was in the air in this one. That Browns secondary got
Yeah,
absolutely torched.
like I was gonna say, it felt like an underwhelming Ravens offensive game, but you're getting like vintage moments from D Hop, which
Yeah,
was crazy to see. Devontae Walker has 2 touchdown receptions on 2 catches. I mean, yeah, they're finding impacts from everybody out here. So, uh, yeah, we feel pretty vindicated in the Bills and the Ravens being our 2 top teams in the AFC and probably the league, dude.
yeah.
Like,
I think they're. I mean, odds wise, FanDuel has those
yeah,
two as the two Super Bowl
yeah.
favorites. So yeah, I mean, the Ravens. I'm not convinced that the Bills are better than the Ravens. Still, I think the
Yeah,
Ravens.
I think that's fair. I'd give the edge to the Bills just because they seem to
Yeah,
have their number in clutch situations.
yeah. No, I can agree with that. I think they're two juggernauts. And for the Browns, I guess Dylan Gabriel gets in there, gets a touchdown pass at the end. I mean, playing against probably backups on the
Yeah.
Ravens defense, but that's probably a good sign to see
Yeah.
for
Also,
Browns fans.
Quinshon Judkins back. He had a couple nice scampers, especially that 30-yard run. So they really got him into the fold pretty quickly for just getting him back in practice on Wednesday last week. So that
Yeah,
was interesting to see. And I think him and Sampson are going to be a nice backfield tandem from there. Just they got to build out this receiving core. Like Tillman, uh, he's a nice
Judy.
2 or 3, but Judy has disappeared again.
Yeah,
Seems like last year was a little bit of a fluke, or him and Jameis just had some crazy chemistry together. But I mean, he doesn't look the part 2 weeks in again.
yeah. It's the Jabu magic. It's not there. But yeah. So I mean, the Browns are bad, and their schedule is tough. Let's move on to Bears Lions. I had a fear that this might be the outcome of this game. I knew the Lions were going to be pissed coming off of that loss at Lambeau. And I'm really out on the Bears. I said this preseason. Their win total was set 8.5, and I just thought that was insane. I think this is one of the three worst teams in the NFL. Uh,
Oh wow.
I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna get loud. I'm gonna get loud. I mean, that defense, dude, is. I mean, back-to-back weeks. Who is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Week 1? JJ McCarthy against the Bears,
he won
who,
Offensive Player of the Week last week.
yes, he was offensive,
I
which
mean,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
crazy,
that is crazy.
yeah, insane. But in week 2, offensive player of the week is Jared Goff playing
Yeah,
against this Bears
probably should
defense.
have been a Monra, but yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, the Lions got whatever they wanted. Goff had 5 touchdowns through the air. Gibbs was electric. Montgomery was back. Amon-Ra was sick. Jameson had his classic, 2 catches for 100 plus yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And Tesla had another one-handed catch, which was pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, this Bears defense is absolutely atrocious. Um, they also lost. They lost Johnson for the season. It looks like Jalen Johnson at corner. That was a big loss for them. I think he's really good in that secondary, and they're going to miss a lot with him. But what do you take away from this blowout win for Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't figure Chicago's defense would be this bad. I mean, but I guess it's Montez Sweat on the D line and what else, really?
Yeah,
And yeah, the Jalen Johnson injury is huge. But good get right game for the Lions. Didn't expect them to drop 52. I mean, that's a little bit embarrassing for the Bears.
yeah.
But
Do you think there's a little bit of Dan Campbell that just wanted to like run it up on Ben Johnson?
100%,
Yeah,
100%. But the Bears got to have some pride at the
yeah,
end of
man,
this. I
this
mean,
is really
Jesus.
bad, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they're in it at one point. It's 21-14. You cannot lose this game 52-21. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I if you want to be optimistic, there were some nice signs that Rome Odunze is going to be the number one receiver for this team.
Yeah, he was
So that,
sick.
yeah, they had some moments offensively, but I mean, you gotta put together a complete football game at some point, and they've been unable to do that for the last 14 games since they started 4-2 last year. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean it's the nature of the losses because I mean if you go back to week 1, obviously they're controlling that game entirely
Yeah,
for 3 quarters, and then you blow it to a JJ McCarthy led Vikings offense, which we saw in week 2. That offense is anemic. That is
yeah.
a
I'm not, we'll,
bad,
we'll we'll
bad
get to
offense.
that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So you let them basically go up and down the field at will, and then in this one, as you said, they're in it, and then they just completely get annihilated in that second half. Um, you'd want to see this team start to put together more complete performances, given that they've had some time together. Like this isn't the first 2 weeks we've seen of this group together. Like it shouldn't look this dysfunctional still. I know it's a new coach and a new staff. But I mean, Dennis Allen is your DC. He's a great defensive coordinator. I just don't think he has the personnel to stop
Yeah,
anyone really. So
and they got to get over this first drive syndrome where they look great on the first drive with all the scripted plays, and then it like everything
it
is hard
runs
to come
out.
by after that. uh, Yeah, like, again, I mean, it's the same thing from last year. They cannot put together a complete 60 minutes of football. And I mean, that's going to be their downfall until they can finally do that. Ben Johnson was talking about how the practice habits aren't that of a winning team yet. And I mean, that kind of says it all. I mean, this team's got to get their head in the right place. The season's not over by any means, but I mean, you start off 0-3. Like the optics between 0-2 and 0-3 are so vastly different. Like you gotta get a win this week, or it might like that's gonna change the whole feeling for the season if you start off 0-3.
Yeah, yeah, they need that one at home against Dallas, and we'll talk about that one in our picks. But yeah, it's disheartening to hear the news like from behind the scenes. I don't know if you saw there was an article that Tyler Dunn wrote called "House of Dysfunction: The Curious Case of Caleb Williams," and it was basically an inside look at some of the behind the scenes stuff with the Bears last season and that coaching staff dealing with Caleb. And there's some really jarring stuff in there about Caleb sort of not being able to take direction from the coaching staff and just a lot of the fears that I think a lot of people had going into the draft process, sort of showing themselves. And if that's the case, and if the practice habits are bad, the way that Ben Johnson seems to think they are, I don't know. I'm just saying I'm not. There's bad vibes around this Bears
Yeah,
whole situation, man.
the Bears situation for sure. I just think for Caleb himself, this has like a Baker Mayfield situation written all
Hmm.
over it. Dysfunctional organization drafts you. There's obviously talent there. And then you have to kind of find yourself after they give up on you. And if that's how this plays out, then I definitely think he can go on a career revival arc after this. He's too talented not to. And I mean, this type of media storm and just bad press is the type of stuff that will build character and kind of get his mind in the right place. Like, not saying none of it is true right now. It's just going through that adversity is the type of thing that can help him out in the long run, I think,
Yeah,
whether it's in
no,
Chicago or not.
I think that's completely fair. I mean, I also think he plays similarly to Baker. I think they both like to freelance a lot and make shit
Yeah.
happen. So I don't hate that comparison at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has more success somewhere else. Uh, for the Lions side, is this win enough to sort of right the ship for them and put them back into where we thought they'd be preseason? Or do you still have some concerns about them as a contender?
I still have concerns, but it was a good start to getting me back on the ship. I just not sold on this defense right now.
Yeah,
Not sold on this defense. Even
that
after this game,
secondary looks
like
bad.
I think they're a defense that needs to force turnovers to be successful, and if they don't, then I think they're in for, a bad game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're good enough as like a team defense to kind of halt the team from moving the ball. They just have guys like Brian Branch and Aiden Hutchinson who are individual game wreckers, but they don't. I don't think they play complete team football on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think this defense has regressed. Let's move on to Broncos Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-0. Daniel Jones was good again. He goes over 300 yards passing, has a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. Jonathan Taylor was really good in this game. I thought this was one of the better games he's had in his career. He goes for 165 yards on the ground. Tyler Warren was awesome. Uh, and the Broncos lose, uh, which could have been their second loss of the year had they not had that dramatic win over the Titans in week one.
That was
What are you,
anything but dramatic, but
yeah, I mean, just
just the shit.
brutal.
Yeah.
What do you take away from this game?
Uh, I'm starting to. I'm 33% believing in the Colts now. Now I'm happy the Broncos offense looked better in this one. So that gave me like
Yeah.
I'm not fully out on them. If you're losing this game, like I said, I probably was going to be if that did end up happening. I didn't expect it to go this way, but I mean, I'm not all in on the Colts yet. Like, it, there's some stories every year where a team starts off hot and then
Yeah,
reality sets in.
is there any last year Saints at all to this, or do you
Yeah,
think this
I was
is
just gonna bring them up. I mean, you can reference a team from any year that
yeah?
has. There's always one or two. But I'm close. I mean, I'm close. The offense does look good.
I
It does. It looks real, but I mean, man, you never know. It's just like shit can change so quickly.
I
Like
know.
one guy goes out and then it just destructs the whole
That
season.
was
But
exactly what I was just
yeah,
thinking. If Taylor goes down, I think this whole thing
yeah,
goes to shit. And I mean, he has a really bad injury history,
yeah.
but I mean, this Colts team has a much better infrastructure than that Saints team from last year. And I mean, Danny Dimes looks fucking good, dude. Like, I'm not gonna like. It's shocked me so far. Let's just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
It
He's
has as well. I
yeah,
apologize to him.
yeah. Another hand up situation.
Yeah.
I thought Bo Nix was a lot better in this one. He has that pick, which is tough because I thought other than that he had a very solid day. Obviously the three touchdown passes. J.K. Dobbins obviously is the lead back there, which I don't think coming into the season we thought was going to be the case. I thought His injury history and sort of you can't count on him. I thought that RJ Harvey had that job, and he's getting vastly outsnapped, and JK's been pretty good. So I think there were some encouraging signs for the Broncos in this. I am worried about that defense though. That was one of the top two or three defenses in the NFL last year, and I've not been impressed by them the first
Yeah,
2 weeks.
like I mean, yeah, they looked fine against the Titans last week to me. The game's just a shithole, but
Yeah,
yeah, they got carved up last week. Surtain got a little bit banged up, so we'll see. Early in the season, not gonna make any proclamations yet, but
no,
you got a point. They did not look impressive at all last week.
yeah. I mean, I was concerned about the Broncos after week one. I thought that performance was really bad. Um, I think it's similar to what you said. Even though they lost this game, if you would have asked me after last week that how I would feel if they lost this game, I would say, I'm so out. The nature of how this game actually unfolded, I still kind of think they're like a
Yeah,
wild
I
card
mean,
team.
yeah, the leg or the leverage penalty
Yeah, that
at
was
the end.
also
Yeah,
insane. We didn't touch on
I
that.
yeah I thought he said leg wrench. I thought that's what he said at first. I was
Got a leg
convinced
wrench
for
here.
yeah, I thought it was a made up thing, but yeah, leverage. You hear that one once every 2 years, so that was
Yeah.
crazy. And I mean, they're that penalty away from being
Yeah,
2-0.
wait. We should have discussed that. I
Yeah,
mean, they should have won this game.
yeah,
By all intents and purposes, they
yeah,
won this game.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not as I'm definitely much more confident in the Broncos. I thought this was a team that was gonna elevate to AFC contender status or just below it.
Yeah.
I still think they're like a wild card team. I think those
Yeah.
two teams are both going to be wild card teams or like in the hunt.
There's a team in their
Um,
division who has kind of taken that reign from them.
yeah, we'll get to that. And let's move on to Panthers Cardinals. This was another strange game where the Cardinals go out to a huge lead in this one. It looks like they're just absolutely demolishing the Panthers. The Panthers can't get anything going. Bryce Young looks terrible. Uh, and then all of a sudden, it just feels like the Cardinals go to sleep. And you look up and it's 27-22, and the Panthers have a chance to win this game. And the Cardinals were able to hold on, but not in convincing enough fashion, at least for me. Um, what'd you see in this one? And how do you feel about these two teams?
Just want to get this one thing out of the way. The flag show on the last drive was
Oh my
one
God.
of the displays I've ever seen. There was like 7 flags on the final drive. Give it
Yeah,
a
I'm
rest.
not.
Let the
Yeah,
players play.
I'm
Um,
not like a conspiracy guy, but it felt like they just wanted Bryce Young to have like a signature moment there and like win that game
yeah.
on that drive. It was
Um,
just insane. Like it was
there's
like four straight plays.
it was a terrible product. Just for anybody viewing it, they would feel the same way. I think that's a universal opinion. But yeah, I mean, the Panthers finally find something at the end of the game. Good for them. I don't come away feeling good about either team
No,
again. Like the Panthers should look better in the third year of the Bryce Young show. They should. They got Tet out there, and he's the only one who looks like he's a real playmaker for them. And I don't know if that's Bryce Young or the actual weapons, because I like the weapons coming into the year. But I mean, without Coker, everybody else here seems expendable. They do.
right.
And Chuba's not able to run the ball right now. That's a big thing. I'm really concerned for the Panthers. Cardinals, good job taking care of business, even though it doesn't look great. You're 2-0. Like good to get those wins. Like those matter at the end of the day. But I don't feel good about them as a football team, and I expect the Panthers to me are one of the 3 worst teams. You said the Bears. I think the Panthers are in that conversation right now. There's nothing dynamic on offense. It just felt like the Cardinals took their foot off the gas, and the Panthers
Yeah.
almost came away with a freak show win.
Yeah, I came away concerned with both these teams' rushing attacks. Neither team could get anything going. As
Yeah.
you said, Chuba Hubbard hasn't looked like he did last year, so far this season. Tet, I thought was, yeah, I mean, he's a dog.
He's a
Like
real deal.
yeah,
Real
they've
deal.
got something there. And The one thing I want to say about Tet is when we evaluate like young wide receivers, like for instance, Leggett last year, like you know pretty quickly when somebody's like really good. And I think a lot of times we're like, give him time, like give him, a couple of years. It's like when these guys are like top tier wide receivers, they break out pretty immediately. Like even if they're on awful teams. We saw that with Neighbors. We're seeing it with Tet. The best wide receivers are good no matter the circumstance. So that I think Tet's breakout is a bit damning for Leggett. I mean, we had this year, he's not even a part of the offense at all. And I just want that to be like sort of, I might make that like a dogmatic approach I have for wide receiver evaluations, but like you can tell when these guys are studs pretty immediately. And I think Tet's a guy, man. Like he's incredible. The way he's so big and agile and he makes contested catches. Yeah, I'm very impressed with him. But yeah, for the Panthers, it's a lot more of what we saw early in the Bryce Young experience. It's difficult to watch and it's not impressive. For the Cardinals, honestly, it's frustrating that they're 2-0 because I haven't been impressed by them at all this season. And I don't consider them like I know that they're 2-0 and they're right in this NFC West race early on, but I think they're a tier below the Niners and the Rams.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, dude. I mean, both are if they won this game 27-3 and like it stayed that way, maybe I feel a little bit better, but I don't know, man. It just they're boring for
Yeah.
lack of a better like it's not like their playmakers are going crazy. It's just they're doing enough to win right now. And
Yeah.
they played two of the, bottom teams in the league. So let's see them
Yeah. I
against some
mean,
better competition and make a judgment then. But it's this is the least impressive 2-0 team in the league.
yeah, and some blunders too late in that game with a lot of penalties, and yeah, I think Gannon managed the end of that game pretty poorly. But let's move on to a Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Obviously, the Eagles come out on top. I thought this one was really nervy throughout. Uh, I I was not confident that the Eagles were going to hold on in this one, but I thought that the defense came up huge in big moments. I was incredibly impressed with Makuba in that Eagles secondary. He had that huge hit earlier on in the game, and then he had obviously the big pick that basically sealed the game. But how'd you come away thinking about both these teams, and where do we stand with these 0-2 Chiefs?
The offenses for both these teams are bad.
Yeah.
You're seeing Mahomes have to do a lot on the grounds. Like he's having to improvise and create. I think that's their best offense right now.
Yeah.
I still think Kelsey has something in the tank. Like you've seen it. He's made plays, but you got to come up with that catch in the end zone like that. I think they win this game if he catches that football, and that
Yeah.
doesn't turn into a 50-yard pick. Um, the only thing for the Chiefs offense that looks dynamic right now is Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah.
Again, he's able to get separation deep, like twice, 2 or 3 times per game. Now, I think he'll continue to be in the mix for them. But the running attack is just like you come out 4th and 1, first drive of the third quarter, and you just hand it off to Kareem Hunt and hope for the best. Like they got this running attack is gonna be the death of this team, man. I would pass 50 times per game if I were them. I
Yeah.
think that's got to be your version of the running attack, even if it looks shit and it's just quick passing. Like it's gonna be better than trying to establish a run right now. And they want to keep doing that every game, but I don't think it's gonna fare well for them.
Yeah.
They don't have the guy to do
Yeah.
that. They don't
I
have one
mean,
guy who can do that.
yeah, I mean, Mahomes might end up being a 1,000 yard rusher at this rate,
He
dude.
might be
Like,
their leading rusher. I mean, a
yeah,
la like 2019 Dolphins when Ryan Fitzpatrick led them in
yeah,
rushing.
yeah.
Like
And maybe
that's the
it's
type of team they have right now.
yeah, it's
Uh,
bleak, man. They also have no screen game. Like, what happened? I remember when Pacheco was like a decent receiving. He was never like an incredible receiving back, but he was serviceable enough that they can pick up little chunk plays here and there. It feels like there's none of that anymore.
yeah, you're gonna have to try Brashard Smith or something, dude. Like I don't know. They need another element. And then for the Eagles, they got to get this offense figured out too. I mean, holy hell, man. Spags was firing the blitzes up. Like I get
Yeah,
it. Like pretty much cover zero blitzes, sending 7 or 8 guys. But I mean, their only answer for that is just chuck it up in the air, and that's the only
Yeah.
time they it worked once with Devontae, and then the rest of it's under routes with AJ Brown. Like there's nothing intermediate at all right now, and I don't. It seems like it's a lot on play calling, but Jesus, man, like it's got to look better than this. They'll get by on talent, but you, by mid-season, they're gonna have to have something better than this. This is not formidable. And
Yeah.
I don't feel good about them at all coming out of this game on offense. Their defense, it definitely had a bounce back game, but you lose this game if Kelsey catches that ball. Like that's point blank period. And lastly, Adoree Jackson again, like he's a problem, and
Yeah.
I think he'll be picked on continually. So I hope he can figure it out, or they can have another guy come in.
Yeah, I mean it's the same conversation we had last week with Adoree, but yeah, it's I mean, and if you take out that catch that Devontae had where he goes up and gets it, like I mean, this it looks
Uh,
even worse for that passing game. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It I mean, similar to what we talked about with Pittsburgh, I think this Philly offense, it's tough to get things going, and everything looks really difficult right now. And it's early on with the new offensive coordinator. So obviously I mean, it'll take time to gel, but yeah, I think you'd hope to see a bit more explosion out of this offense. Um, Saquon, obviously, the defense was dialed in on the run game, and he still was, I thought, pretty effective. But I mean, yeah, it's tough. And I mean, I will say the one thing is, and I was talking about this with some buddies, is this is a game that a lot of teams lose. You go into Arrowhead against a team who loses week one. They lost to you in the Super Bowl the previous season. The Chiefs really wanted this game, and the
I don't
Saints
really
lacking.
care about how much they wanted this game. Like the Eagles should have won this game like handily. Like they're a
Yeah.
much better team. As currently constructed with the guys that are healthy. Like they're a much better team right now. They got it.
Oh yeah.
Uh, no, I don't know. I don't come away impressed with the Eagles at all, man. It's
No. I won't. I'm not saying that I'm impressed. I'm saying that this is a game that you had to win and you won. And so
yeah,
you just check it off. And I think you just hope that this offense starts to figure shit out. And Patula, man, I mean, this can't be another Brian
Brian
Johnson team
Johnson. Yeah,
for
no,
this
I
for this
know.
offense. So, and I think that might be the fear that's creeping into some Eagles fans' minds. But I mean, yeah, I think you just check this off and you move on and you hope that you start to figure some shit out.
Yeah, I mean they better because if they have this one way to win approach like they did in 2023, then I don't know, man. It's heavily relying on your defense to win you every game.
Yeah, yeah. I think I mean and then also for the Chiefs, where are we at on the panic meter for them at 0-2 here and going into a week 3 matchup um
Yeah,
with the Giants.
gotta win that game. It gets a
Well,
little
yeah.
bit tricky. But I mean they'll be in the mix. I don't think they're gonna win the division this year,
No.
but they'll be in the mix.
Well, I don't even know if they'll come in second in that division. But yeah, I said it last week I was
Uh,
concerned about the Chiefs. I'm pretty worried about
I'm
them.
I'm at like a 5, but it's
Yeah.
moderate and
Okay.
contingent on if they lose this game, it's up to an 8, and if they
Okay.
win, then
Oh,
it's like down to a 2 or 3.
if they lose to the Giants, I'm at like a
Like
15.
yeah, that would be that would be like the shocker. I don't think like it was out of the realm of possibility that they started 0-2, even though I expected them coming into the week one to handily beat the Chargers. Like it was in the range of outcomes for them to lose that. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's move on. We had a really greasy Sunday night football game. JJ McCarthy had, I mean, it was like the Bears game, except if it never got better. Uh, so he throws 2 picks. He gets injured. He sprains his ankle. Whether or not that's KOC trying to, kind of hide him and give him a little time to figure shit out, I don't know. But yeah, um, a really tough performance. I thought the Falcons were decent in this. They did what they had to do to win the game. Their defense was good. What do you think about this greasy Sunday Night Football game?
Yeah, you're kind of spot on the JJ thing. It does feel like a pitcher in the MLB when they give him the phantom injury, some
Yeah,
tendonitis in the elbow or something. Like, I don't know. I think it's he does not look good. I think he had some throws in that game that I was impressed with though, like the out route the nailer, but that punching the ball in the red zone for both these teams was an issue. But I think it's a lot of it falls on JJ, but also the offensive line I don't think's doing him any favors. And I mean, the problem with them is they can't even move the ball. It's like they're going three and out on like half their drives this year, and it might be even more than half. Uh, so yeah, I mean, very concerning for the Vikings. If Wentz comes in and looks great, it, I mean that's going to be really interesting discussion to see down the line. But I mean,
I
for the
mean,
Falcons, good to get a win, and their defense does look a little bit better than I thought it'd be. Like I thought to be a below average defense. They look like they're a middle of the pack and a little bit above average right now from the first 2 weeks from what we've seen. But Penix is certified in my book. I thought he was certified after last week, and he's definitely a good enough quarterback to build around for the future.
yeah, I think he managed the game well in this one. He obviously didn't, do a ton here, with just 135 yards. But um, the other thing for the Vikings is they lose Aaron Jones, so it's going to be all Jordan Mason all the time now. And I think they brought in Cam Akers again, so
Yeah,
we're
he
gonna
makes his
have we're gonna
rounds.
have Carson Wentz and Cam Akers in the big 2025 for them in week 3. Bijan was incredible again. I just think,
Yeah, and it
uh,
looked like he was going to house both those first two rushes he had.
yeah,
Algier got in the action too. Like the running game was flipped 180 from last week. They both couldn't get it going, and this week they have big money games. So
yeah,
that was good to see.
Yeah, Pitt's had a couple moments. I think Drake London's had a slow start to the season. I don't know if he's still a little banged up from that knock he had in week 1, but that might be something to monitor. But yeah, the Falcons just take care of business here. I think the Vikings, the outlook for them might be a little bit murky, but I wouldn't expect the JJ thing to last too long. I think it's sort of, I do think it's similar to the Bryce Young thing where they brought in Dalton for a few weeks just to like kind of settle the ship a bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see with that one. Let's move on to
Interesting that both quarterbacks to settle the ship have red hair. Shout out
yeah.
James Ball.
Hey, let's go. We're the ones to take away the anxiety. Um, we got Bucks at Texans was the first of a weird Monday night doubleheader. I hope they never do that again. Um, the Texans offensive line was absolutely atrocious in this one. It felt like CJ Stroud just had no time to do anything. Uh, and they still almost won this game.
Yeah.
They honestly should have won this game, and then obviously Baker has that late drive to seal it for the Bucks. What'd you see in this one, and what do you take away?
Yeah, that's gonna be the story of the Texan season, man. Like, there's no reason to even go in-depth analysis on them, like in any game. I feel like this is always what we're gonna talk about with them, and it because it just stands out. It's what catches the eye when you watch them play offense. I mean, they could not get anything going in the second half. Had plenty of opportunities, and like Nick Chubb's getting a lot. Like, I don't know, man. I have a
I
lot
could
of
see you
reservations there.
visibly getting pissed talking about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I'm trying to be respectful too. But whenever these two teams play, at least in the Stroud era, they've been fun games.
Yeah,
I thought this was a fun game overall, like the Baker, Gardner Johnson kind of
yeah, that was fun.
interaction, middle of the field. That was awesome. Um, and Baker's a guy who goes and gets it done in the clutch. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
It
he's
hasn't
stamped.
it hasn't looked pretty so far this year. They're missing a couple pieces, but for them to start 2-0 with kind of how not perfect the game scripts have been for them, very impressive. And I thought Bucky Irving looked great in this one as well.
Yeah, even Rashad White. I thought Rashad White was
Yeah,
really good in this.
yeah,
I mean, in both the passing game and the rushing game, I thought he gave them a little bit of a punch, especially down the stretch. Uh, yeah, I'm extremely impressed by the Bucks early on. This is kind of who I thought they would be, and Igbuka, I think, has even surpassed my expectations early on in this season. I think he's incredible. I think he's like a JSN clone. Those Ohio State guys are just something about him.
yeah.
And yeah, for the Texans, it's just tough, man. Like this team just could be so much better if they just had like a middle of the pack offensive line. Like you can't get Nico Collins going because of it. You can't get anything going.
Yeah,
The run game's non-existent. And they're just relying on this defense right now, which has kept them in these games. But I mean, they're 0-2.
yeah,
So,
and a
uh,
not good division too. So they're gonna be,
yeah, no, it's division or
they're gonna
bust.
be around, but like, dude, it's just it's unsettling. It really is.
So, what's the panic meter for the Texans? We talked about the Chiefs.
Seven,
We're
seven.
yeah, yeah. I just those divisional games for them aren't going to be easy. I think that that division is more competitive this year than last year, especially with the Colts sort of emerging here. But yeah, dude, like if that offense can't get going, I mean, this is going to be a really really tough season, and you're wasting another good year of CJ Stroud. So yeah, that was a frustrating one for Houston, and they're going to look to get their first win in week 3. Let's move on to the last game of week 1 or week 2, I should say. I can't get my weeks right. We had Chargers at Raiders. Gino looked really mortal in this one. It wasn't sort of the fun Gino experience that I think
Yeah.
we've come so used to watching. It was a lot of the bad. Like Gino has always been an iffy decision maker because he's such a gunslinger, and in this one, it just felt like, what if all of the good shit that you get from Gino being like that just doesn't happen, and like the worst outcome comes true, and it was bad.
I mean, from the first play,
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah, I mean, he believes in his arm talent a little bit too much, and he believes in somebody's weapons a little bit too much. I mean, dude, like, yeah, it was not great. I come away impressed with the Chargers though. Like,
Yeah.
way to not fall victim to the trap game. Defense looks great again,
Yeah.
and passing attack looks dynamic. Then my only concern with them right now was what I was least concerned coming in was getting that run game going, and they don't seem committed to it at all right now, and it hasn't looked good when they have been. So yeah, just get that figured out, and I think they will. And I'm a believer in this team now, and I was not at all coming into the season. They probably are the most surprising team for me so far.
Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised by them. Deion Henley, that linebacker for them who got that pick, he looks like a
Yeah,
stud. Um, Khalil Mack did get hurt in this one, so that's tough for their pass rush. But yeah, I'm extremely impressed by this Chargers defense. Derwin James still looks like a stud. Um, and Quentin Johnson gets another touchdown. I
yeah,
mean,
he's here.
I think he's bolstering his numbers a bit with some of these longer catches, but I mean he's catching a couple balls here and there, which is more than you could say for last season. Omarion Hampton, I'm not. He's a rookie, so it's like I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions too fast, but uh, a bit concerned with that and just the run game in general for LA. That
Yeah,
doesn't.
especially with the Greg Roman offense, like the whole, it's
Yeah.
really it's shocking how they've chose to attack coming out
Right. And
so far
you
this year.
wonder you wonder if the reason that their offensive script is like that is because they don't believe in these
Yeah,
backs.
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
I do kind of feel like that is what it is right now.
yeah. So, I mean, they'll have to figure that out if they want to, be a contender in the AFC. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by this Chargers team. I I thought for sure they'd lose one of these first two. I honestly thought they'd lose this one, just because you go to Vegas against Gino, who was playing so well prior to this. Uh, Ginty had a tough one. I know that Chargers defense is
Yeah, but
great.
he pops off the screen to me. Like
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not any way concerned with him right now. I think they just have to commit to making him the vocal point.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the tackles he breaks are fucking
Yeah.
nuts, man. But yeah, so I mean, the Raiders, you know, the 2 weeks you see two very different versions of this team, and that might just be the experience for them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's fair. Like
I mean, I'm not sure what we expected for them, but yeah. So let's move on to our week 3 previews and our picks. Last week, let me pull up the spreadsheet here. I think we both did really well. You had 11 correct picks and I had 13. And then we both had 9 in week 1. So we're about even over the first 2 weeks. Um, let's look ahead to week 3. The first game on the docket, obviously, the Thursday night football game. Dolphins, Mike McDaniel's job on the line at the Bills. Who do you got here?
Bills.
Yeah.
Nothing else needs to be said, man. Like maybe it's weirdly sneaky somehow, but I don't see any way that the Dolphins win this game.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is I think they know the stakes, the Dolphins. So I mean, I think they're gonna in Buffalo though. It's really tough, man. I the real question is, does McDaniel even go on the plane on the ride home with the team, or does he just have to find his own Uber back to somewhere? Yeah, I got the Bills, man. I think they're just so much better. I think this Dolphins defense. We talked about how bad the Bears defense has looked early on. I think this Dolphins defense is atrocious. And I think Josh Allen's going to pick on them. Let's go to Bengals at Vikings. We got Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Who do you got?
Dude, this is bizarre how Jake Browning like he plays the same exact teams that he did 2 years ago when he
Yeah.
got in. Like this is so weird.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, a little bit. But Jake Browning got famously last time he played the Vikings, he got cut by them, and he was fired up about that. So I think he brings that passion in, and I think the Bengals start off 3-0.
Yeah, I don't think Carson has any juice, man.
Yeah,
And
I'm not too excited for that.
And you don't
But
even have like I think the success that the Vikings had with Jordan Mason in week 1 had a lot to do with him being like an off-speed pitch for Aaron Jones. Him by himself in that backfield with no backup in sight, and Carson Wentz probably not getting anything going in the passing attack. I know the Bengals defense is bad, but I just don't see how the Vikings score points in this one. Let's move on to Texans at Jags. This is a pretty important game for both these teams. A little
yeah,
AFC South duel here.
I think I like just trust the Texans a little bit more right now. Uh, like I know exactly what I'm gonna get, and I think their defense will be able to, cause enough turnovers where they can manufacture some points off of them, and it's a must-win game for them. I feel like so. I'll go Texans.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a game where the offensive line being bad won't matter as much, just because I don't think this Jags defense is good. So I think CJ's gonna have more time. I think this might be the big Nico Collins game we've been waiting for. I don't think anybody in that Jags secondary has anything for him. Um, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans win this pretty comfortably. Actually, I'm out on this Jags team. Colts at Titans. Who do you got here? This might be a sneaky
Yeah,
trap game.
yeah, it will be. I'm going Tennessee.
Wow, I love it. I love the pick. Why?
I don't
I don't know, man.
know.
Something about it. Yeah, no, I was really tempted to make the Titans pick too. I think this is like definition trap game. Like you look it up. This is Saints week 3 last year. But I do think this Titans team is very, very, very flawed. And I think the Colts, without any injuries yet, I think the infrastructure is good enough that they'll take care of a bad Tennessee team. So
Yeah,
I'll take Indy.
definitely the smart pick, but
But if the Titans win this
uh,
game, just say I won't be that
yeah,
shocked.
it's a division game at
Raiders,
the end of the day. Like,
yeah. Raiders at Commanders. Who do you got here?
so who the commies have that quarterback behind Daniels?
Mariota.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go. Fuck. Give me Raiders.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders too, but I'm not confident in that at all.
I'm not either, dude.
I think the Raiders are. I'm worried they're bad. That performance
Yeah, I know. I am too. That was so
that
bad, dude.
performance Monday night was so bad. Yeah, the Commanders. I think Mariota can do enough that he can like make this offense functional. I am worried about that rushing attack, especially now that you don't have Jaden Daniels in it, and it's basically just Bill now with Eckler out. So we'll see. I think it is also in DC. You know what? I'm talking myself into it. I'm going Commanders. Let's go Commies
Yeah.
for that one, just so we have a different pick. Rams at Eagles. I think this is going to be an incredible game. We got a rematch of
It's
the NFC divisional game from
Sam.
last year.
I'm at the point where the Eagles got to prove it to me. The last week disgusted me a lot, so give me the Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, I need to see the Eagles offense assert themselves and be normal, for lack of a better term. Like, and I
Yeah.
think the Rams have the receiver, the 1 and 2 receivers that can, you know, give this Eagles secondary a challenge.
Yeah. No, I think that's completely fair. I think I mean if you look at it, this Rams defense is strong up front and weaker in the secondary, which is kind of what you would want if you're playing against the Eagles. If you're gonna have a flaw in your defense, I think you'd rather have it in the secondary, so that you can bottle up the run. But yeah, Eagles at home. I don't know. They just took care of the Rams last year.
The highly motivated Rams coming in, I
Yeah,
think.
that is true. I think the Rams want to prove something here. I'm gonna go Eagles though at home. I just think that I still think that the talent's enough that they can win big games. Let's go Falcons at Panthers. A bit of a stinky one. This will probably be low scoring. Who do you got here?
Falcons, the Panthers got to prove it to me too, man.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are bad again. Unfortunately, I was excited about them coming into the season, but there's not much I've
Yeah,
seen
I was
that.
cautiously optimistic, but like this is worse than I could have
Yeah,
imagined.
this
This
is
is a revert right back to not the very beginning of last year because that was just like bottom of the barrel type stuff, but like right when Bryce got back into the fold before he kind of got going.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. I think the Falcons are good. I think they're going to be a playoff team. So let's go Steelers at Patriots. We got, I mean, this one could be weird. Who do you got here?
This game's gonna suck. Give me the Steelers.
All right, I'll go Pats. Just because I don't know though, because the Pats defense hasn't been very good, but I just think that the Steelers in week two proved to me that that offense is going to be bad. So I'll go with the Patriots. I like Drake May. Let's go Packers at Browns. This could be another trap game.
No,
Uh,
couldn't. Like
no, couldn't.
maybe 5% chance to give me the Packers.
Yeah, I got the Packers too. I do think that the Browns pass rush might, give
It-
Love some trouble, but they just don't. The Browns don't have anything offensively to like make it interesting.
yeah, I think that it kind of the Browns proved last week like they have to commit to one thing and that they're going to give something else up against top tier teams.
Yeah, it's also just like if Flacco's going to be sitting back there throwing the ball 50 times a game and you have Micah
Yeah,
Parsons running after him, I'm not sure how
yeah,
that's going to end up. Jets at Bucks. Obviously, we got Tyrod Taylor getting the start for the Jets. What do you got
yeah.
here?
Bucks.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a blowout in Tampa. Broncos at Chargers. This is going to be awesome. An early AFC West duel. These might be the two best teams in that division. Uh,
Yeah,
who do you got?
I'm fully bought in on the Chargers right now.
Let's go.
They have flipped my opinion 180. So, uh, hopefully they prove me right.
Yeah, I really struggled with this game, especially because it's in LA. Um, I'm gonna go Broncos though. I'm waiting for the game where the defense gets back on track, and I hope Surtain plays. If he doesn't, I would go Chargers at 10 out of 10 times. But I'm gonna assume for now that he's gonna play week three. And I'm gonna go Broncos. I just think that. I don't know. There was something in the second half of that Chargers Raiders game. That Chargers offense did stall a lot. We kind of gave me the vibes of like the Chargers of old, where they kind of start hot and then all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck happened? This looks like the worst offense in the NFL. So I'm gonna go Broncos. I'm not quite ready to be all the way in on the Chargers yet, and I think this Broncos team has improvements to make. Let's go Saints at Seahawks. Who do you got here?
You already know,
Let's
Saints.
go. Let's go. I think, dude, this was I when I looked at the schedule, I was excited because I wanted it to be another one where you could pick the Saints, and I saw the Seahawks, and I was like, oh yeah, he's 100%
Yeah,
going to
no,
be all in.
I am a little bit worried because the Saints' first 2 games have been at the Superdome, so it's like there is part of me that feels like maybe Rattler is just like a Superdome merchant a little bit. Uh, but fuck it, man, we ball. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the good thing is I think it'll probably be like temperate weather in Seattle in September, so it should be fine. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think that Seahawks defense is really good. I think that we might see like a real stinker out of Rattler this
yeah,
week.
we might, but I'm never discontinuing this bit.
Yeah, I love it. Pick them until they lose, which or until they win, which is funny because we picked them to go 0-17. So if they don't, like it's a win-win either way.
Yep.
Because we're either vindicated or you get the pick right.
Of course.
So let's go Cowboys at Bears. I think this one's going to be actually really fun.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be. Yeah, I think I just feel like turnovers are gonna be in the air in Chicago
Yeah,
on this September afternoon. I'll go Cowboys, but
yeah,
I think it's gonna be a good one.
yeah. This is also a must win for the Bears here. If they want any chance to turn this season
Yeah.
around, after a really devastating first 2 weeks. It's tough because the Cowboys, I out of week one, I was very pleasantly surprised by them. But that defense in week two was absolutely atrocious. I think Caleb's going to be able to carve them up a little bit. I would be shocked if Rome has another big game in this one.
Oh, not at
Uh,
all. I think that one's like set in stone that he
yeah.
will.
But yeah, I'm probably going to go Cowboys too, just because I'm a hater. So let's go Cowboys on that one. Cardinals at Niners. We got Mac Jones at home against 2-0 Cardinals. What do you got here?
Niners, I'm gonna have to see it to believe it from the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cards, just because I think Max probably due for a stinker. But I'm gonna be so pissed at myself if they just can't get anything going against that Niners defense. But I'll go Cards for now. We'll keep a little faith in Kyler and the boys. Chiefs at Giants Sunday Night Football.
Uh,
What do you got here?
Give me the Chiefs, but I think it's a close game again.
Yeah, I mean this one, I'm pretty pissed. This one's Sunday Night Football.
I think it's gonna be a low
Um,
scoring close game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really gross. I mean, I think all the Chiefs games are going to be like
Yeah.
that because I still have
Yeah.
faith in that defense for KC. And I don't. I think the Russ game last week was a bit fugazi. I mean, he's literally throwing moonballs like every single play, which neighbors can bail you out enough times, but against the competent defense, I'm not sure that'll continue. So I'm going to go Chiefs too. I think Russ might have a little bit of a shocker here. Let's go Lions at Ravens for Monday Night Football, last game of the week. This one will be cinema.
This is exactly the type of game that the Ravens get up for, I feel like. And I have a gut feeling that they boat race the Lions a little bit here.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
a two score like 34-20 type of game, maybe even more scoring for the Ravens. Like I just don't think the Lions can stop this team, man. Uh, no, that's how I feel. The Ravens love getting up for, a marquee matchup in the regular season like this.
Yeah.
Especially with the outer conference foes like Lamar owns the NFC, man.
Yeah, he really does. And I mean, I guess this is the perfect test of like between week one and week two, do you think that this Lions team has figured it out? Because I mean, the Ravens, the defense is, Packers level defense. This is going to be a huge test for that Detroit offense. Um, and I'm still not convinced in that Detroit defense. I thought they looked pretty bad in that first half against Chicago. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens too in that one to end week three. And we'll see how we do there. I think we got some. I think we got some great games though, and a couple of really weird ones that could be fun. Like that Bengals Vikings game might be absolute cinema, especially if
Yeah,
Carson
no,
gets like a few good drives going.
yeah, I love watching Browning. Like I don't feel like the Bengals change play styles at all with
No,
him,
no,
which makes them fun. But and he's a gunslinger, so yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
yeah. But hell yeah, I'm excited. We got when this comes out, it will be the same day as Thursday Night Football. Dolphins at Bills. Let's get it, dude.
Let's get it. Another great
Absolutely.
epi.
Yeah. Thank you, folks. Have a good one.